Earlier this fall, a group funded by the Koch brothers, specifically to target college students and young people, launched these ads to try to convince young people to not sign up for health insurance. The pitch was that signing up for health insurance is creepy. It's like having a guy with a big papier-mâché puppet head perform your prostate exam. Don't get health insurance, young people. It's gross. The Koch brothers' idea here was that young people should opt out of health insurance. And if you wrote to their opt-out of health insurance website, they would send you an opt-out of health insurance kit for your college with stickers and beer koozies and stuff. So you could give them to all your friends to let them know that getting health insurance is just not cool. At around the same time, another conservative group linked to the same billionaire conservative brothers launched this website in Alaska to convince people in that state that they also should not get health insurance. They actually launched two websites at once, one of which just flat out told Alaskans that they should pledge to not get health insurance, and the other sort of tried to look more like a neutral site where you might go to get answers about health insurance, but it ended up giving the same advice. Don't do it under any circumstances. Yesterday, the LA Times reported on the same kind of trick being played in California. In California, though, it's not some random conservative group funded by the Koch brothers who's doing it. In California, it's the state Republican Party. California Republicans are a little bit of an endangered species right now, but when they learned that the health reform website for people to sign up for insurance in California was going to be called coveringca.com, covering CA as in covering California, the Republican Party in the state came up with a dummy website that looked just like the real one. Instead of coveringcalifornia.com, their ripoff version was called coveringhealthcarecalifornia.com. And if you ended up there accidentally, it kind of looked like you were at the right place to sign up for health insurance, but you were not at that right place. You, in fact, were at the Republican Party's website that was designed to make you think that health reform is terrible, and in no way should you ever think about signing up for health insurance because of health reform's terribleness. The conversation in Washington about health reform is sort of an esoteric one now. Republican House Speaker John Boehner this week was asked whether the Republican Party would ever have its own health care policy, its own policy ideas on the subject. His answer was, we'll see. No rush, we'll see. Today in the Republican-controlled House, there were count them, four separate hearings on how terrible health reform is. But with no more votes to repeal it scheduled, with no more plans to shut down the government to try to stop health reform, and no proffered Republican alternatives to replace health reform, the Republicans' whole approach to this issue in Washington has gotten a little esoteric. Where it is not esoteric is in the states. And the states really get no attention from the Beltway press in terms of their political importance. But that is where you can see much more clearly than in Washington what the real fight is right now between the parties over this issue. And the real fight now between the parties is that one party really wants you to get health insurance. They're saying it at every turn. The president's going to do an event every day between now and Christmas Eve saying, hey, go get health insurance. One party really wants you to get health insurance, and one party is proving that they will do almost anything possible to stop you from getting health insurance. Nowhere is that more clear than in Texas, which of course is under complete Republican control and which has more uninsured people than anywhere else in the entire country. Today in Texas, they unveiled 64 pages of new state rules and regulations that restrict people who want to help other people in Texas sign up for health insurance. So if you want to be a healthcare navigator in Texas to help people sign up for insurance, as of today, Texas says you must be fingerprinted, you must pass a detailed background check, you have to display evidence of financial responsibility, they will put you through 40 hours of training, and after all that, you will still be banned by law in Texas from actually offering people advice about how to get health insurance. The new Texas rules they unveiled today say that nobody in Texas may recommend to anyone else that they sign up for a health insurance plan. Doing that is illegal. You also cannot tell anybody in Texas the differences between the various plans that are being offered to them. You can't explain the differences between the plans. So if you want to help people sign up for health insurance in Texas, effectively that is now illegal. And in Missouri, it is outright illegal. Missouri is being taken to federal court right now over their efforts to make it basically impossible for people to figure out how to get health insurance in that state. Because the law that Missouri passed flat out makes it illegal for anybody to offer anyone any advice concerning benefits, terms, or features of any health insurance plan. You can't talk about that in Missouri. So, sure, millions of people across the country who could not get health insurance before now should be able to get it because of health reform. But Republican-controlled state governments are making it illegal, or at least hopefully impossible, for you to find out that there are health insurance options out there that you might like. And conservative groups across the country are trying to convince you that health insurance itself is just a terrible, terrible idea, and you don't want it anyway.